Composting is a simple and sustainable way to recycle organic waste and create nutrient-rich soil for your garden. By composting at home, you can reduce the amount of waste sent to landfills, lower your carbon footprint, and enrich your plants with homemade fertilizer. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to start a home composting system. 1. Choose your composting method. Before you start, decide which composting method works best for your living situation. Traditional composting, best for outdoor spaces like gardens or backyards. Vermicomposting, uses worms to break down organic material and is ideal for apartments or homes with limited outdoor space. Bokashi composting, an anaerobic method that ferments food waste and works well for indoor composting with limited odor. 2. Select a compost bin or pile location. Once you've chosen a method, select the right bin or space. Outdoor compost bins. Use a compost tumbler, bin, or create a compost pile in your backyard. Choose a shady, well-drained spot that's easy to access. Indoor compost bins. For apartments or small spaces, choose compact compost bins designed for kitchens or use a worm bin for vermicomposting. Ensure the bin has proper ventilation to avoid odor buildup. 3. Know what to compost and what not to compost. For successful composting, you need a balance of greens, nitrogen-rich materials, and browns, carbon-rich materials. Compostable greens, fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, tea bags, fresh grass clippings, plant trimmings. Compostable browns, dry leaves, cardboard, shredded paper, sawdust, wood chips, egg cartons. What not to compost. Meat, dairy, oils, pet waste, treated wood, diseased plants, and non-biodegradable items like plastic or metal. 4. Start layering your materials. When starting your compost pile or filling your bin, alternate layers of greens and browns for the best results. Base layer, start with a layer of browns to allow proper air circulation at the bottom of the pile. Alternate layers. Add equal parts greens and browns, mixing them together as you go. If your pile becomes too wet or smelly, add more browns. If it's too dry, add more greens or water. 5. Maintain and turn the compost. To keep your compost healthy and breaking down efficiently, you need to monitor and maintain it regularly. Turn the pile. For traditional composting, use a pitchfork or shovel to turn the pile every 1 to 2 weeks to aerate it and speed up decomposition. Tumblers make this process easier. Moisture levels. Your compost should be moist like a wrung-out sponge. Add water if it's too dry, and add more browns if it's too wet. Temperature. Composting generates heat. A well-managed pile will feel warm in the middle, helping break down the materials faster. 6. How long does it take to compost? The time it takes to produce finished compost depends on various factors, such as the size of your pile, the types of materials you use, and how often you turn it. Fast composting. A well-maintained compost system with frequent turning can produce compost in 2 to 3 months. Slower composting. If you turn your pile less often or let it sit undisturbed, it can take up to 6 months to a year to fully decompose. 7. Harvest your compost. Once the materials have broken down into dark, crumbly soil that smells earthy and clean, your compost is ready to use. Sift the compost. Use a garden sieve or mesh screen to remove any large, unfinished pieces of material. These can go back into the pile to continue decomposing. Apply to plants. Use your finished compost as a soil amendment, mulch, or potting mix for your garden, houseplants, or lawn. 8. Troubleshooting common composting problems. Even with a good system, issues can arise. Here are a few common problems and how to fix them. Bad odor, usually caused by too much moisture or not enough browns. Add more dry, carbon-rich materials and turn the pile. Pest problems. If rodents or flies are attracted to your compost, it may contain food waste like meat or dairy. Make sure you only add plant-based materials and cover food scraps with a layer of browns. Pile not heating up. Your pile might be too small or dry. Add more greens and water, then turn the pile to aerate it. Conclusion. Starting a home composting system is an easy and rewarding way to reduce waste and create nutrient-rich soil for your plants. With a little effort and the right balance of materials, you'll be on your way to producing your own natural fertilizer in no time. Whether you live in a house with a yard or a small apartment, there's a composting solution that can work for you. If you enjoyed this guide, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more sustainable living tips.